Esco, also known as Benny Esco. You can find me on Instagram. I feel that I should start with my story. Most of you don't know who I am. And so we'll go ahead and start with my childhood. I grew up in a gang-affiliated environment. Both of my parents were involved in gangs. My father was shot 5 times when I was 6 months old as a fetus in my mother's belly. So you can only imagine that I experienced major trauma before I was even brought into the world. And so from what I heard from Justin is that you guys are very familiar with the subconscious mind and how the subconscious mind works. And so that trauma was placed upon me as a young child. And in growing up in that environment...
Feel free to hold the mic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Growing up in that environment, you can only imagine what I experienced. I saw drugs, violence, jail, the whole 9 yards. I've been to many funerals as a child, probably as many as I've been to birthday parties. Growing up into my teenage years, I experienced everything that my environment, my childhood taught me to experience, which was to commit crimes, do drugs, sell drugs, steal cars, and to be violent, right? And so I experienced everything that I was taught growing up. And now fast forward, I'm now a grown adult, as you can see. I have 11 plus years of construction experience. I have 4 years in experience working with people directly, teaching them about the subconscious mind and how to heal from past traumas. I have 4 years experience in psychedelic medicine, sacred medicine, specifically in psilocybin mushrooms. And I have about another 4 years experience, actually 5 to 6 years experience on social media, building the Global Shift brand. I am the founder of the Global Shift. And the vision for the Global Shift is to inspire and empower billions of people all over the world. And so with all that being said, I've gone through major transformation, major experiences that brought me here. And as we all know, we all understand energy and consciousness. This is happening for a reason. This is not happening by coincidence or so forth. And so I have brought a notebook. Okay, here we go. So when Justin brought up this event, he said, "Hey man, have you ever thought about speaking?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. It's been on my mind." He goes, "Oh man, I don't know why I haven't told you about this event, but there's an event that's going on and it's happening January 15th. I'm like, "Cool. Would you like to speak?" I was like, "Sure." Right? This is my first time being up in front of an audience speaking about what it is that I'm speaking about. Yes, sir. Right? And so I thought, in the beginning of the week when the decision was made to come here and to share this energy and this information, I was like, man, maybe I should create some type of speech or something. Maybe I should get prepared. And then I realized that I wasn't too drawn to do that. Everything that I'm going to share with you has been accumulated over the past, decade or so, especially over the last 2 years. I think it's fair to say that we all understand that there's some bullshit going on in the world, right? Okay. So there's no need to focus on the situation that's going on, okay? What's important is to understand why it's happening and how it's happening. And there is dark intentions behind it, right? And to keep it simple, we're moving from dark to light. We're in a transition right now. And I'm pretty sure every single one of you can feel it, okay? So, yeah. And so what we're seeing here now in this moment is what Germany saw in the 1930s, right? How did they get millions of people to act in such ways?
Fear.
Yes, through fear. But how is that fear generated? Propaganda. Daily bombardment into your subconscious mind. First, it goes into your conscious mind, but when you start thinking about it every single day, it enters your subconscious. And once it enters your subconscious, it becomes automatic. So now people are getting up and they're immediately putting this on. Okay, acting in ways out of fear based on the propaganda, right? And so, as I mentioned before, I don't want to focus on the current situation. I'd rather focus on the solution. And when Paul asked me, what's the name of your speech? And I was like, I didn't think about a name, right? And I was sitting there, I'm like, I'm a little faded at the moment, right? And I'm like, damn, what title can I give it? And the first thing that came to me was the solution. Okay, what's the solution? Since we're all aware of how the subconscious mind works, and I like to think that we're all aware of how consciousness and energy works. What we think and what we feel, and what we do, we create, we manifest, right? There's no escaping this truth. And so, how do we combat and how do we assist in this great awakening that's taking place today? Number one is you got to monitor and you got to censor the information that goes into your mind. You got to turn off the bullshit. Stop conversating about what you don't want to experience. Stop going out there and looking at people in a negative way because they have no idea what's happening to them. They have no idea that they've been programmed, brainwashed. So going out there and calling people cowards and negative names is not going to help the situation. The better way to approach it is to understand that they have been subconsciously programmed and to have compassion for these people, because there is a point in my life where I had no idea about all the information I currently know now, right? No clue whatsoever. So it's important to make a clear intention to choose and decide what type of information is going to go into your mind every single day, from the moment you wake up till the moment before you go to bed. The information that goes into your mind the moment you wake up is the most important information because it sets the tone for the day. If you wake up and you're watching the news and you're talking about or engaging in negative information, that's going to dictate your day, and you're most likely you're going to have a negative day. And so I highly encourage each and every one of you to not only apply this to yourself, but to teach your kids how to start the day with positive, good, loving, healing energy, right? And then before you go to bed, you drop those seeds into your subconscious mind. The first 30 minutes, 15 minutes, you go to bed, you drop those seeds into your mind. So whatever you're watching, whatever you're reading, whatever you're doing, you're falling asleep for 6-8 hours and it's marinating in your subconscious. Okay? So number one, take control of the information that enters your mind, which eventually enters your subconscious mind, morning and night and throughout the day. So when I'm driving to work, guess what I'm listening to? Audio. What type of audio? Audio that's going to empower me. Because we can't get through our current situation with a weak-minded type of mindset. We can't go through our situation being mentally, physically, and spiritually weak. So it starts here first, in the mind. And we got to empower this mind every single day. In the morning, on the way to work, while you're at work, on the way home to work, when you get home, as many times as you want, right? Or as you need, or as you can. This is very important. And not only that, but to teach your kids to do the same, right? That right there will begin changing and shifting the energy within you and changing the actions that you do, therefore changing the results. So, second thing is that this is something I feel like I don't have to mention here, because when I was driving up here, I was like, wow, this place is beautiful. And I already know that I'm gonna be surrounded by some beautiful souls. And I eat organic, right? And you know how it is when you're surrounded by people who have no idea, or they're just unaware of how the mind and how the body and how the spirit works, right? So when you get to surround yourself with people who are like-minded on an energetic level, most importantly, it's beautiful. So it's a honor and a privilege to be here with each and every one of you, right? Yes, thank you. All right. So, how can we get this shift going from dark into light? We're going to go in that direction no matter what. This is going to happen with or without us. Whether you do something about it, whether you don't do something about it, this shit is happening. It's going. Okay? And in order for this shift to take place, the first thing that needs to happen is the exposure of the darkness. So the last year, 2 years, this is what we have seen on a global scale, is the exposure of all the darkness within all the top organizations, within governments. It's all being exposed right now. And that's the first step, right? Because this exposure, eventually, even those who are closed-minded to some of the information that we are currently aware of, eventually at some point the truth will reach them and they will wake up. And right now, this is what we're witnessing right now, is that more and more people, millions and millions upon millions of people, are now waking up all over the world. People are standing up, and they're standing up for their freedoms and for their God-given rights to choose what's best for their health and for their life. But we're not seeing none of this on the news, right? So the same way that they used the media to program the masses with the propaganda is the same way we, the people, have to use that same strategy, okay? And what got me into social media, let me share this real quick. What got me into social media was I was invited by an old friend, and he was a real estate agent, and he had an office out in Rancho Cucamonga. And he had invited me sometime, this was, just maybe like 7 years ago, 6.5, 7 years ago. And he had invited me like mid-year, and the event was in December, and I totally forgot about the event. And he reached out to me the morning of the event, like specifically 30 minutes before the event. He goes, "Hey man, you gonna come to the event?" I was like, "I don't know. I'm sitting in my, in my room, in my boxers. I don't know if I want to get up and, go to this event." So I sat there, and something told me, just go. Just get up and go. And so I go to this event, and there's maybe like 5 speakers that are speaking, and they're sharing powerful information. But there was this one individual by the name of Marcos Orozcos. And he goes, "Who here has social media?" Everyone raised their hand, right? "Who here is using their social media to spread a message or to build your brand?" And maybe 0.25% of the room, there's maybe a little over 100 people, 0.25% of the room raised their hand. And he starts laughing. And he goes, "Do you have any idea how powerful social media is? For the last so many years, it has only been mainstream media that has dominated the information and therefore dominated the minds of millions of people. Today, we have social media. So if you have an Instagram account, you have a Facebook account, you have Snapchat, TikTok, whatever the case might be, you have your own broadcasting system, your own broadcasting station. So imagine if we all started sharing some of this information every single day, with the removal of the fear of being judged, letting go of the fear of losing people. Imagine if we all shared a positive, good, uplifting message. Imagine what will happen. Now imagine there's, 20 people here or so. Imagine we all shared some of this information with 3 people. And then imagine those 3 people sharing it with another 3. Right? What's up, boy? Or is it a girl? What's up, girl? So imagine what can happen. And so he's talking about the social media is the new media. It's the people's media, where the people now choose what type of message they want to share with the world. And he goes, it's so powerful that you can send a message out into the world and within minutes reach thousands of people. And after that talk, I went home and I didn't know what I was hearing and what I was listening to. But when I went home, there was a fire lit within me. And I said, I don't know what I'm going to do with the social media thing. Because at the time, I just had a basic, regular Facebook account, Instagram, personal pictures and whatnot. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. And at the time, a few years prior, I was involved with network marketing. And in network marketing, they taught me about personal growth and self-development. This is when my journey started, when I was 27. Started teaching me about the mind, and about the body, and about the spirit, right? And so, I lost my train of thought. But at this event, when I came home, oh yeah, there we go. I knew I wanted to help people. I wanted to work with other people because I knew what it did for my life. I saw and experienced the good, better outcomes in my life, and I wanted that for other people. This is the basic mental stuff, right? Positive thinking, and being grateful, being thankful, and just trying to do your best to be a better person, right? Just basic information. But I wanted to share that information, so I told myself back in 2015, I said, "This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to share some motivational, inspirational information with whoever's following me on Instagram." And at the time, it was like 20 people, right? And so in the beginning, all I was doing was I was reposting other people's memes or messages, right? And then after a few months, I said, man, like this is really going somewhere. I started building more followers. I started getting more engagements. And so, boom, a download came in. And that download was build a group on social media. The same way that they taught you to build a network marketing group, right? Because the network marketing is about recruiting and bringing people into your team and building a team, right? And so I had this inspirational thought that came in and said, build a team, build a group on social media. And that's when the Global Shift group came about. And at the time, it wasn't nothing more than just, hey, you like inspiring people, you like motivating people, you like connecting with people, you want to make a difference in this world. Hey, let's get together and let's create a group and let's share this message together and let's grow together. And after a few months, the 10 accounts that were in the group grew to 20 and then 30. And after a year, it grew to 50 and then to 100. And those who started, when I got started, as I mentioned, I had maybe 20 followers. Right now, I have over 70,000 followers on Instagram. And that's because of the work that I put in over the last 5-6 years. And I've been able to touch and reach a lot of people all over the world, including those who were a part of that group. That group no longer exists, but the Global Shift brand is there to stay, right? And so I highly encourage all of you to start using your social media, to start sharing some of this information to help bring this light into the world, whether people are ready for it or not. What's important is that we plant the seeds. So all those who reject the information, you're planting a seed. No matter how they're reacting to you, no matter how they're reacting to the environment around them, there are seeds being planted into their conscious, and within time, that seed will sprout within the subconscious at some point. And so this is how we create this shift, is that we use the tools that are there. And yes, a lot of people are being censored right now on social media. I'm currently being censored right now because my page started as a simple motivational, inspirational account. Then it led into a spiritual account. And then it led into a exposing the bullshit account. So now it's /spiritual /exposing the bullshit, right? And so my message for you today, and for all those who are going to be watching this this video or this message, this energy, is to start using this powerful tool we call social media, which allows us to connect with people all over the world. And if we all just started sharing some of this information, if we all just started sharing information that empowers you, that empowers others, mentally, physically, spiritually, and we get a lot more other people to do the same. And you share this information, you keep sharing it, and you keep sharing it, and you keep sharing it. And then we could get past this whole dysfunctional energy that we're experiencing in the world right now. So the faster that we all can start doing something, expressing yourself. When I go to work, I don't wear a mask. Last week they mandated mask wearing. I work in construction. They mandated mask wearing, and I'm in the union for the carpenters union. All right, I'm a journeyman, master builder, also / foreman. And I told the guy who's actually running the job, my boss, I told him, you know, I may have to go home early. He's like, why? And he's like, and I told him, I go, because I'm not putting that on. I haven't put it on for over a year and a half, and I'm not going to start today. If I put that on, everything I've done up to this point has been for nothing. And he respected that. And he goes, cool, I have no problem with that. But if the contractor says you got to get off the job site, then that's just what it is. And I go, cool. So can I work until the contractor kicks me off the job site? He goes, yeah, perfect. I've been there for a whole week. Contractor hasn't said nothing. On my hard hat, you can go to my Instagram. On my hard hat, I got freedom across the right side of my hard hat. Bold. That's right. So you don't have to wait to start protesting. You can start protesting and sharing who you are and your message every single day. And so I just, whether this speech is done or not, whether other speeches are done, whether, none of that matters. Like this really.
That doesn't matter.
That's right. It doesn't matter, right? Because this great awakening is happening with or without us. So we might as well enjoy the ride, right? We might as well enjoy the ride, baby, because it's going to be a beautiful one. It's a beautiful time to be alive. There's no reason to focus on the negative shit. Know that we're backed by divine source, power, God, whatever name you want to put on it. Divine intelligence is moving this energy and is dictating what we're leading into. Right? So it doesn't matter what plans they have. It doesn't matter what he or she says about whatever. The simple fact is we're going from negative to positive, dark to light, hate to love. And that's it. And so it's time to come together as a people, as a collective, so that we may inspire others together as a people and as a collective. And so we could quickly shift this collective consciousness to where we want to be in the world that we want to experience, for not only for ourselves but for them and for their kids, right? Because if we do nothing, then they're gonna have to step up, right? So don't put that type of duty on them. We're grown ass fucking adults. Let's get it, right? And that's it. If you guys have any questions or anything, just feel free to walk up to me.
No, you're gonna answer from there.
Okay. Shoot it. Shoot it. If you guys go ahead.
So, when did your shift actually take place? You did mention that around 27 you joined that network marketing company. Was that around the time your mindset shifted? And what is it that motivated you to want to make it?
First and foremost, when I was 21, my son was born. So that was one shift, right? We all have many shifts. That was my first shift, to where, before my son was born, I was still messing around in the streets, still hanging around, still, doing things that I shouldn't be doing. So when he was born, it drastically reduced that. So that was a small little shift. And then When I was 27, no, when I was 26, I'm sorry. When I was 26, I kind of stood away. I started like separating myself from my old crowd and all the dudes that I was hanging around with. And at the time, I wasn't going out. I wasn't really hanging around. I was just chilling. But someone had invited me, like, hey, we're gonna go out. We're gonna go to the Yard House in Long Beach. Come out, like old friends. Let's catch up. We'll have a good time. Cool. So I ended up going out to the Yard House in Long Beach. Had a great time. Got a little tipsy. There was maybe like 8 of us. And on the way home, we decided to stop at the King Taco in East Los Angeles. And so we stopped at King Taco, and I ended up getting jumped and stabbed that night. And by the time I reached the hospital, without going into the story, by the time I reached the hospital, I was already out. And when I woke up in the morning, there's one friend that was there in the room. And I told myself that this is going to be the last time something like this happens to me. Because it happened because I was hanging around a certain individual. And they recognized him, and because I was next to him, I experienced what I experienced that night. Right? So that night was my first shift. Right? That was like a major shift. And then when I was 27, I was introduced to network marketing and personal growth. And man, when I first read Think and Grow Rich, which is, I think it was like my first or second book that I read ever in my life. I was 27 years old, never read a full book ever in my life. But I read Think and Grow Rich in about a week. And I knew, like, after that moment, it's on. I don't know what I got I don't know what I had my hands on, but I could feel a difference in the information that this book has given me. And then my cousin was shot and killed, right? My cousin was shot and killed, and we knew who did it. And so me and a few of my family members and a few associates that we knew, we went looking for these guys. And each and every one of us had a gun. And as we were driving around the city looking for these guys, we got word that they were at this house. And so we pull up to this house, and I'm not knowing, whether they're inside or not. All I know is that we're strapped up and we're ready to go. And we pull up to this house, stop pretty much in the middle of the street. Everyone jumps out, guns out, run to the damn door, go through the fucking door, and luckily nobody was in the house. Because who knows where I will be at right now. And then that night, for that whole week that was going on, they were looking for us and we were looking for them. So every single day, guess what was on my mind? They're shooting somebody or getting shot. Going to jail or dying. That was the only thing on my mind. And so what happens on a subconscious level, when you think about something over and over and over, you begin to dream it. And I began having dreams, vivid dreams. 2 of them in specific where I was shot twice, right? And it was so real. It felt real. And I woke up in a cold sweat, and I was like, man, like, this needs to stop. Like, this is getting crazy. And that following weekend, one of my partners who was in a network marketing company, he got a promotion. And he was like, hey, man, why don't you come out with us to the bar? We're going to go hang out, have a few drinks. Let's go chill. And so we go to the bar around 2 in the morning. My friend who got the promotion, he goes, can you give me a ride? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I take him to his house. It's like 2:30. And from 2:30 to about 7 o'clock in the morning, roughly about 5 hours, he was sharing with me his dreams, his goals, right? His vision. And at the time, no one ever talked to me that way, right? For 7 hours straight, he's talking about, like, we have an opportunity in our hands. What are you going to do with it? You just sit on your ass and you're going to do something, right? And so he's talking to me in this language, right? And I'm like, no one's ever talked to me this way. And so after 5 hours or so, I'm like, what got you thinking the way you're thinking? And this is when he told me about Think and Grow Rich, the power of the subconscious mind, the world's greatest salesman, and The Secret. Okay, 27 years old. Never read a book ever in my life, right? So I go to the mall to go look for these books, and I don't find any of these books, right? And it's roughly around Christmas time. And so the mall's packed. It's over there at the Montebello Mall. Mall's packed, and there's a bunch of people everywhere. And I don't find any bookstore. I'm so like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to go home. So as I'm walking out the mall, there's the escalator to go up, and something told me to go up the escalator. I don't know if it was a cute girl or whatever the case might be, but something told me to go up the escalator, right? So I go up the escalator, and the second or third store that I pass, it's a video store. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Maybe they have the secret there, right? And so I go into the store, and I go into the documentary section, and I'm looking for the secret. And I can't find the secret anywhere, right? So remember, this Christmas time, everything's just disorganized and everything's everywhere. I'm like, damn, like I really want to find something, one of the books or the documentary. So I'm walking out, and as I'm walking out, I go up to the cashier and I go, excuse me, do you guys have the secret? Or do you have the secret? And she looks at me and she's like, what do you mean, do I have the secret? And I'm like, the documentary. And she goes, oh, let me check. And so she looks, she goes, oh, on our system it says there's one more left. As a matter of fact, I remember seeing it yesterday. Come with me, I'll show you where it's at. So we go to the location where she remembers seeing it. And she goes, oh, it's not here, but it has to be somewhere in the store, right? And so she starts looking for the secret. And she goes, I'll help you look for it until someone comes up into the counter. And within like 3 minutes or so, boom, I found it. The best $20-something I spent ever in my life. I go straight home, I pop it into my computer, I don't take a shower, I don't do nothing. I'm watching The Secret, it's talking about energy, power of thoughts, and how you can create your own reality, right? Bob Proctor. I'm like, I never heard anything like this ever in my life. Ever. But something about this information is resonating. So I feel something in my heart, in my gut. That, oh shit, I got my hands on like a treasure right now. Like my life's about to change. And then that made me realize that everything that was happening with my cousin, and we're looking for them and they were looking for us, right? It made me realize that I was attracting darkness, death, trouble into my life. And then that was like, that saved my life. I can easily say that The Secret, the documentary, saved my life. Because it's from that moment, it shifted my thoughts, my energy, everything. And then it brought me here. So I guess that's my time.
It's dinner time.
Dinner time. It's dinner time. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Plug your IG one more time.
My IG, you can find me on Instagram under Benny Esco, BENNYESCO. Benny Esco, or hashtag Global Shift.
Globalshift.com.
That's right. Globalshift.co.
Thank you, Benny.
We're gonna do